This is episode 2, Tone's Crib. What's today's date? Today's October 1st.
Today's October 1st, yeah.
October 1st. And I'm here. This is Tony. I'm here with Glenda.
Hello.
Again.
Again.
Anything you want to talk about? Start off with?
I don't know. I'm kind of like blanking right now.
I'll start with. I have the wonderful, wonderful opportunity of being diagnosed with diabetes, which is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks. It's a little distressing. Like you, it's funny because when I had my accident, I had an accident it was 3 years ago. Remember, it was February 26th on my motorcycle, and it broke the leg. And
In 2012, right?
It was 2013.
2013?
Yeah, February 26, 2013. On my way to work, I was sideswiped by a car, and I broke the leg. And it was a month after my son's mom's passing, because I remember thinking, oh shit, if I die here, this is gonna really suck for him. So let me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let me put shit together. So what happened was I'm on the floor, and it was right outside my job, and it's one of those all the streets there in Queens are like one way tight ass streets, and people that drive crazy, especially in the morning. And I remember I was on the floor thinking, I need to get up off this floor before somebody takes that corner and runs me over.
Because you were by a highway, right?
No,
you were
no,
at an exit?
I was on the corner of my job. The building was literally the corner.
Yeah.
And like I'm on the floor, and I just got up. I didn't realize anything was broken at that point. So I got up and I picked the bike up, and I actually started it and drove the bike to a parking spot.
So you got back on the bike?
Yeah, I got back on. I turned it on.
With your mangled leg?
Yeah. I didn't realize it was mangled at that point.
Well, you were probably
I was
adrenaline, so you don't feel it when you're on adrenaline.
I didn't feel anything. So I go and I actually drove it, parked it, put the brake down, got up situated. My heart was beating crazy quick, so I wasn't really thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay. It was a moment by moment. It was like stop the bike, and literally in my head I'm like stop the bike, turn the key, put the kickstand down, make sure everything's safe, get off the bike. And I actually remember when I got off the bike, I put all the weight, because to get off the bike you gotta put the weight depending on how you park, and usually you have to put the kickstand down on the left side. So the left side was the broken leg.
Oish.
And then when you get off, you step on the left leg and you bring it over. And I remember stepping on the left leg, and just being like,
I don't feel it?
well, not that I didn't feel it, it felt weird. It felt spongy. Like it didn't feel solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, shit, what the hell is going on? So I got off and I'm walking, and it's
Oh my God, you were able to stand on that shit?
yeah, it was, when I stood up, there was a car in front of me. And I remember putting my hand on the hood because, I was starting to feel pain now.
Okay.
But I still didn't realize what was wrong.
Yeah.
And I crossed the curb. I was parked right outside the building. I had to walk maybe 3 or 4 feet,
Mm-hmm.
on the sidewalk, and then down this little corridor to get to the main door.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, there's like a bar, and I'm walking, and I'm realizing with every step that it's getting harder to walk. Like I'm feeling pain more, and things are not feeling right on the leg.
Yeah.
And when I get to the part where you can, maybe 10 feet, there's the bar there you can hold on the right side. I realized I grabbed the bar and I looked down, and my foot wasn't, like the leg wasn't straight.
Yeah.
It was bent a little bit.
Ew.
So I wound up hopping to it was an area where people would, go out. The smokers always have an area outside where they sit down and smoke.
Where they congregate.
Yeah, so it was that area. So I hopped there on one foot, sat down and looked down and realized that my leg was super swollen. It was red, and it was busted. I remember later on the doctor telling me you should need a lot more painkillers because this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was splintered. It was like if you took
the bone splintered, like it broke and it's splintered.
Yeah, it was like if you took
snaps and you get all the rigid,
like
the
spaghetti.
jagged.
You grab a handful of hard spaghetti, and you just it was all splintered.
Yeah.
And they wound up replacing parts that they couldn't put back with like metal pieces and studs and screws and
Mhm.
stuff that's in there to this day. And I remember at the time I weighed about 315, like 315, 320, but it wasn't sloppy 315, 320 because I was a mailman. I was walking every day.
Yeah.
I was doing like 12 miles a day. So it wasn't bad. It was manageable. Everything was good. I had good muscle tone. Everything. I've always been big, and the first year after the accident, things didn't get better. And I remember putting on the weight a little bit here and a little bit there. And it's a slow. It's not something that happens overnight that you can say, "Wow, I'm fucking up."
Yeah.
It's something that happens slow, and then you slowly gain more here, gain more there. Little things become a little harder. It's a little heavy. You feel heavier, and it's really hard with it happening so slowly to like catch it. You seem to just let things go. I remember a lot of things in my head were, well, a thought in my head was like, as long as I can get a woman,
Mhm.
I'm not really worried about it that
Yeah.
much.
Really?
Yeah, that was my. It was stupid, but it was my underlying
Uh-huh.
thought. Like, as long as somebody found me attractive
Uh-huh.
and I can get groove, I was like, cool. It's not that big of a problem. I'll worry about it later.
Yeah.
Um, and it
Well,
got
you
to the
had a lot of stuff going on because the month before you had previously lost, you know,
yeah. I'm dealing with
the
my
baby
son.
mom,
Yeah,
the baby's mom, and then you had your accident, and
yeah.
I know, I mean, from my experience from losing weight and then and then it gradually coming back on, yeah, if you're not if you deviate from what you were doing
Hmm.
before, you know what I mean, and it's a slow process depending on how you eat and how much you're eating or how much change it
Right.
varies from your original um you know original regimen. You start noticing it's true, yeah, you all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, my thighs feel heavy, these
Yeah.
pants they're not as loose as they used to be, or the shirt
I,
is tight or some shit.
when it really hit me was about. So it's gonna be this next February. It'll be 3 years.
Mhm.
About 2 years in, I think it was July. As a
Mhm.
matter of fact, July 14th. I remember the day exactly. July 14th, 2014. It was 1 year over. July, yeah, 2014, July 14th. I went back to work. I think it was a Saturday. I went in, and the first thing that hit me was none of my uniforms fit.
Uh huh.
And I was like, what the fuck? This was never tight before.
Uh
And then I put on the uniform shirt, and like my belly would be out. You know what I mean? Like
huh.
if you put your hands up, like your belly button's like hello.
Uh
And I was like,
yeah.
fuck, I gotta wear like a black T-shirt or
Uh huh.
to like hide everything.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. Like, but I figured I'm going back to work. Um, I'll lose the weight that way because
Yeah.
everybody goes supposed to be you lose like 30, 40 pounds right off the bat.
Yeah.
But the problem was once I started working, my leg was not as healed as everyone felt it was. Like about an hour into actually not even an hour. It took me like half an hour to work from the station to the route, and by the time I got to where I was supposed to start the route, I was already in pain. Like everything was locking up,
Yeah.
cramped. And then when I actually had to start the route, that first block of my route is about 12 staircases. Like brownstones.
Yes.
Okay, not big staircases, but
Yeah.
12 of those up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, this is not happening. Like after those, I powered through those 12 staircases, hit the corner, turned the corner, went to do another thing, another business, dropped off the mail, and walked out. And I was like, this is not happening because my leg was stiff. It was like I couldn't even bend at the knee.
Yeah.
So I called up station. I was like, this is not going to work. And I wound up, I had to be out again.
Yeah.
Never got better. I went back to rehab. And the thing about rehab is they give you a certain amount of visits according to whatever your insurance says.
Mhm.
And you wind up going through those visits, and you feel a little bit better. They give you the nice massage and the vibrating shit that they put up
And
there.
the looks like the electrical stem
All of it
stimulation,
feels
the
wonderful.
ice and all that stuff, the massage.
But it gives you a false confidence because then when you actually have to use the leg, it doesn't really work as well. And the exercise they give you are really remedial. I've been in the gyms and working out since I was a kid. I mean, I like 15, 16. I used to do like power lifter workouts and stuff like that. I know how to use all the equipment. and
Mhm.
they're really using, like, to a person that knows, a lot of these places you go to, they have equipment there that's old.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's not even cables pulling up the weights. It's like rubber shit
Mhm.
and actual bicycle chains, and it's like it was just like a shit. And then after the the initial 20, the doctor felt there do some more because their answer to everything when you go to them at this point, their answer to everything I tell them is more physical therapy. And I think I need something different, but I'm not. It's just me. And again, the weight comes and comes and comes, and when you eat for an active lifestyle, it's very hard to change your diet for inactive lifestyle. And I think that's where I was. And at this point, it's like I have to start all over. Like right now, the last time I was weighed, I was 420 pounds. That's 100 pounds in like a year.
Oh wow.
one
Okay.
hundred pounds in a year, and I'm feeling it. Like it's noticeable now. It's bothering me.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the diabetes and shit.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
that's
want
what
that.
you're saying. It triggered or onset the
The diabetes,
diabetes.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a quick weight gain in a short amount of time. And to be honest, I have to come to terms with the fact that yeah, I might have like a bit of depression in there too because of the loss of the mother and the dealing with the son, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you have a lot of stuff going on too, as well.
yeah,
You know.
it's a lot of stuff to come to
Yeah.
terms with, but I think right now the thing I have to worry about most is like the weight loss.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot a video to show what I'm talking because I see a lot of videos online about this is what I used to weigh and this is what I weigh now, but it's a still picture of what they used to weigh, and you don't really see. You know what I mean? You see, it could always be like I could puff my stomach out, and make it look bigger than it is,
Mhm.
and then suck it in and make it look smaller than it is. And look, I
Mhm.
lost 10 pounds on
So
that.
you feel like these are not really they're
No,
not
no,
as legitimate as they say they are.
no. I think I like right now. I think I have a serious. I'm. It's a bad problem.
Mhm.
And then I'm trying to work towards making it better. I mean, I've changed my diet.
Mhm.
I had already like whittled down the sugar,
Mhm.
and I'm doing that more now. But it's gonna be 420 pounds because where I want to be is around 220.
Uh huh.
That's where I feel like I'm my best.
Yeah.
That's a long that's 200 pounds, man. That's a long way.
That's a journey, man. Because fucking 50, 60 pounds. And I'm talking about like not even like Mickey Mousing it, meaning like no crash diet, no
Mm,
nothing. Like 50, 60 pounds took like a good year and change, maybe like a good whole 2 years or something like that.
yeah.
And that was just with slowly changing what I eat, what I drink, and stuff like that. Trying to be more like conscious of what I'm ingesting in my body and all that stuff. But I'll tell you this much from losing weight the first time around, like do it naturally in the sense without any like supplements or fat burners or any diet meals or drinks or like I just did straight food. You know, when it comes back on, it's not like from one day to the next. It's something really gradual because you changed the way you were eating before into something new. So now you're on this new regimen, and then you see the slow, but you see the benefits of it. Then if you switch it up, it's once again depending on how you're eating and stuff like that, it takes time for it to come back up.
Yeah. It's not easy to do. It's easy. It's very easy to eat wrong. So easy. I mean, easiest thing in the world is to walk into a store and get the wrong food.
That's because
Yeah.
you're it's habitual. So you have to
Yeah.
what is it they say? You have to switch out the old habits for new
Yeah.
habits, and that takes discipline and
And not only that, like going to the gym. Like I've joined the gym recently, and I go out there, and it's like a dungeon gym. Like full disclosure, look, when I was younger and I worked out, I took steroids, and it
Mhm.
helped a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying not to do that now,
Mhm.
because at my age now, it's probably not the best thing for me to do.
Mhm.
Um, Not saying that I won't do it. I'm just saying I'm trying not to.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to do things natural.
Yeah.
But it's not easy because I know they work and they work quick. and they work easy. But I
Mhm.
think easy might not be the best thing for long term.
Mhm.
That might have been the problem in the first place.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm trying to avoid that.
Mhm.
Um, and working out too is hard because I don't have look almost 3 years of being confined or being limited in what you can do as far as movement and stuff doesn't help for stamina at all. So going to the gym is painful. Like not on top of the actual pain of the leg,
Mhm.
because the leg still like walking on is it's terrible.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's the pain in the back, which comes from the weight gain, which
Mhm.
that's the most noticeable thing, the pain in the back.
Mhm.
And then the pain of actually working out when you have no stamina is hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. So I mean, yeah, it's most likely it's going to be a slow thing, but it's going to be a thing that happens.
Mhm. You just gotta stick with it. I mean, I remember like laying on the floor, starting to do like my crunches, and then looking at my gut like, God damn, this was flat at one point. Now here I
Yes.
start again, and it's funny because it's almost like you tell you like, fuck, I'm back here again. Fuck it.
Yeah, I know.
You just gotta keep going forward because
It's frustrating.
it
It really
is, it
is.
is. But if you think about it like that, then you get stuck there. You just can't get
Yeah.
stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm looking. Like I said, we'll shoot a video and I'll put it online.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll do like a vlog, maybe like a weekly thing, to
Mhm.
see how things going. And once I get my bike, it should be here actually today. Go
You
out and
should do
ride.
it. Just yeah, just
Go out and ride and
do
video
it.
my sweaty ass rides.
Yeah. You know,
Actually,
people not for nothing. Like that's good. That's good to do because then you give other people, motivation and hope.
yeah.
To do that shit.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping now. Like I said, I did. I've looked online. I've looked online and I've seen a lot of videos of the people that get the surgery, which I don't have a problem with. I've looked into the surgery and I'm still at this point contemplating the surgery, but I really don't want. I'd hate to have a piece of my stomach cut off indefinitely. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna get that back.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
don't want any tubes in there squeezing shit together. I don't want that. I don't
and
want
what's
nothing.
I recently just got hernia. I just got hernia surgery, but the thing is, it's like, once they cut you open and they stick their hands inside
You never feel
it's
right.
not for some reason. I don't feel like put shit back the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had the hernia surgery, and yes, it felt like they pulled out your intestines and they just put everything back willy nilly, just like shoved it. Like, you ever have your sock drawer organized and you pull out one pair of socks?
That's what I was saying. It's like a picture that's what I said. It's like
You
you
shove
open up your
everything back.
sock drawer, you see this beautiful, like your socks are
Wow.
all laid out, everything's in a row, you got your colors and everything, all nice and flatly organized. And these motherfuckers come in and just pull everything out, and then they just throw everything back in and close the drawer.
Yeah,
That's what
and
it feels like. That's what your
yeah.
intestines feel
And
like
I
inside.
had my hernia surgery was 2011,
Mhm.
and in the gym when I do that row machine where you lay your stomach on it, I feel it. It's painful.
Really?
When I try to do crunches, yeah, it's like no, like it feels like it's gonna rip open at any moment. That's scary.
No, you know what's so funny now? After the hernia surgery, like I can tell when I'm constipated. I got gas. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they did, but now I feel like everything down there.
Well, when it goes like it's been like hot and cold lately, but when it gets really cold, like that one really cold first day, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna actually
Yeah,
feel
you feel
every
like
individual stitch in there.
yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, but they might have done a great job. I just feel like they put shit back with their foot. Just kicked them in there. It just doesn't feel right. It's
Like hurry
crazy.
up, we gotta hurry up, we gotta hurry up and do the next one.
It's insane. I don't understand how they do that, but look, it is what it is, man. I need to 200 pounds.
You could do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just
I'm
do
working towards it. Yeah, you know what it is.
Just
Every week we see where it is because
do it. Just do it.
I've been good so far. It's been a little while and I've been alright. It's you know what for me I tried because I went to the nutritionist previously and I did I'm sugar's not a thing for me. Like I don't have that crave. I don't have cravings for soda or juices anymore. I basically drink water and fucking Crystal Light, and that's all I drink now.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not. I've never been a cake candy person. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Well,
we'll see where it goes.
for me, see, I like all those cakes and candies and all that shit. That I love me some dark chocolate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, that's my thing. But if I'm in a zone, I'm fine with it. But if I'm like mentally stressed or something is like creeping up, like I'm in anxiety. Like
Yeah.
if I'm depressed, I'll eat. I'm like
Mm.
and swallow a whole box of donuts like nobody's business.
Yeah, I witnessed that.
Well, yeah, you
It
see
was
me.
amazing.
You see, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
just sit there talking to you, just chomp, chomp,
Hey.
chomp, chomp,
Yeah.
chomp. Yeah.
Look, I've done shit. Terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
Dietary. To the whole binge without the purge,
Mhm.
which is you know what? If I could bring myself to throw everything back up, I'd be perfect.
I'll be too. I spend way too much money to.
You know,
At this point, I'm like, fuck it. I spend. You know how much I spent on that box of donuts? And there's no way I'm gonna fucking toss that shit right back down the toilet. Now.
yeah, you swallow it down,
Yeah,
swish
like, I
it
eat
around
it.
in your belly like a bottle of
Mhm.
like a little glass of champagne, and then pick it back out.
Yeah.
It never tastes as good coming back up as it does
No,
going
no,
down.
no, no.
But yeah,
I feel even worse. I'm like, I just literally threw away
donuts
my
coming
food.
out of your nose.
Ugh.
Yeah, and coffee. You know what it was? I guarantee you, my last 30 pounds was from fucking Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts coffee, the iced coffees
Oh,
and
I was
shit.
about to say, I'm like,
I
because coffee by
guarantee.
itself,
No,
it
no,
doesn't
no,
have
no.
calories.
I'm talking
And if you
about
start doing them frappuccino
yeah.
shits,
I'm talking about
or those delis,
frappuccinos.
the fucking white chocolate mocha's the devil.
I've yeah. I guarantee you, the last 30, 40 pounds was easily Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts coffee, because nah, 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 nah. You don't see people at juice press. Like,
I know, but
nah,
like,
doesn't happen.
oh, this Swiss chard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
never, never, never. It was. I know. I know. At this point, I know where I fucked up and how I fucked up. The trick is not doing it again.
Though I have to admit, I do like when I'm juicing, I do like when you don't. Okay, it's that right between your next juice, like it's your body absorbed whatever juice you drank or whatever for the allotted amount of time. Now it's that time for you to you need another juice,
Okay.
and you start feeling a little like the best way. You ever see those VA commercials when the people are walking like off center? They're like, oh, I kid you not, that commercial. Whoever did that shit described it to a T. Not so much with the VA, it's very mad salty and shit, but when you're juicing and then right before you get that other juice that you feel like a little wilted flower, you're like, oh, you feel like you're off kilter. Yo, the minute you ingest that juice, the rush that you get, I don't know if it's probably the sugars, like all that shit that that your body's absorbing.
Right.
I kid you not. It's just like it's like you just drank a Red Bull. Like all of a sudden you're like, hey, how you doing? Like you're back on track again. You go from going like off center to like being ding, on point.
I've
It's a good feeling though. I gotta admit, I like that little rush.
see. I don't know. I've suffered from low blood sugar before. Like I would take like I've taken like jujitsu and different kinds of courses, and then after the class, you have that feeling like everything's like like you're almost passing out. You're like a little dizzy from it, and you're not feeling right.
I get the lightheaded feeling when I don't breathe right.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do that all the time. I don't breathe right. I feel like sometimes I forget to breathe. I've actually held my breath. You know what? And when I first started um, the first rehab I went to, the lady was laughing at me because I held my breath while I was doing stuff, and she was like, "You're gonna pass out," and I just looked at her like crazy. And 5 seconds later, I'm doing something, holding my breath, and I start to feel dizzy, like I'm about to hit the floor. And she says, "You feel you messed up. You feel dizzy, right?" Like, shut up, shut up.
That's that pride with you. You know what I
Yeah,
admit.
yeah, but I do that a lot. I hold my breath and I like forget to breathe.
Well, I think that's normal because I mean I have to remind myself to breathe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, I need to do this sit up, or I need to do this squat, I need to do this one thing, and you're focused on actually physically trying to do it, and it's just you forget to breathe. You
Yeah.
just forget, yeah.
Well, we'll see.
I say,
I'll tell
do the blog, do it.
The bike will help with the blog because you get nice footage. There's a lot of nice places to ride around here.
Yeah. Are you gonna like GoPro it, like record it?
Yeah, yeah. I might as well. I might as well.
And put the camera on your head.
No, I put it on the bike. I got harnesses and stuff. Look.
If I was to say POV,
I was gonna tell.
POV.
Look, I have my see my selfie stick. Look. I got my selfie stick here.
How is that? What, 2 feet?
I don't know what that is. That's more than 2 feet.
I
That's like
want a
maybe 4 feet.
selfie stick too. How much was that? Like 19.99?
The selfie stick like $10.
$10.
Yeah, they're cheap.
It's so funny because nowadays, if you go to Times Square, they're selling the umbrellas and fucking selfie sticks.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Well, I don't have the one for the phone. I got it for my GoPro.
yeah. No, they're downtown, like right over where the characters and the naked ladies are right by Toys R Us, like that.
Yeah, the naked ladies are right by Toys R Us. You ever see that?
Yeah.
They're right in between. It's like wow. And you know,
And it's so funny because you know what's so funny? They're not even like really skinny. Like it's funny because like when it's a really thin woman, like really thin, like and I'm talking about like with no hips, no real butt,
Right.
like no boobs. It doesn't look intrusive, but when you get like a thick mama out there with
Let
like
me tell you
titties and
something.
ass, you're like, what the fuck is that?
let me tell you
I
something.
mean, of course, other people don't have a problem. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but it's just funny how like I'm like, wow, they look really naked.
Yeah. But
It's like
if you
it's like
go,
the more boob or like the
Yeah.
more tits and ass you have, you look more naked or something.
if
I don't
you
know.
go early enough, those girls get there and disrobe and put the makeup on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you get there early enough, you can see them naked, getting
I thought
painted up.
I thought they just go out. They take off their robe. I mean, they
No.
just robe because I've seen like one girl like she had her little outfit on and she
Yeah.
just took her thing off and she was already
No,
painted.
no, it's a thing now. You go there early enough, they'll get there in their little robes and they'll sit down with the buckets out already for money, and they'll get money because they're being painted up, in front of you live. So they get a decent amount of money, and yeah, you can watch them girls get painted up. And I'm not. It's funny because I'm not trying to lose weight because I don't like big people in any way. Because I love me some big girls.
Well, you
it's
just
my
want to feel
thing.
healthier. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what's so funny? People think like if you're like, oh, I need to lose weight, it's because you want to be a fucking rail. It's not really what. It's not really that. I don't know. For just be able to move, feel comfortable in your own
Yeah.
weight, and it doesn't necessarily mean like
Yeah, I'm not looking for that.
-5.
I'm
Like
not
I'm
looking
just
for
saying,
that
like you
at
just want to
all.
be, you want to feel good. You want to be able to like, fuck, walk across the street without feeling you're just dragging your ass
Yeah.
on the floor.
Because I was a while ago, I was dating a girl, big girl, and it was great. And when I told her, because I was thinking about the surgery, she just looked at me like it was an insult, like I said something to her, and it wasn't nothing about her. It's not about. Look, I could be 90 pounds. I would still go out with big girls. I love big girls. I love thick women. That's just what I'm into. I don't have anything against you. Be whatever you want to be. It doesn't bother me. It's just that I need to be healthier. I need to be more comfortable.
Well, yeah, I mean, the doctor's telling you you're diabetic and shit. You don't want to spend the rest of your fucking life injecting yourself with fucking insulin either. You know what I mean?
No, that's not what I
If there's
need.
something you could do to fucking avoid that shit,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Yeah, but that's like my big thing right now. Um,
But no, I'm not offended by the naked ladies down in Times Square taking pictures.
I love
Yo,
that.
a lot of people are offended by that shit.
I'm not. I
My
love it.
sister was like, they're naked. And I'm like, but they're painted. She goes, yeah, but they're naked. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like they're standing out there blowing somebody out in public. Like,
That
you know
would
what I
be
mean?
Great too.
Yeah, they're just standing, they're literally painted as something. And you know what I mean? They're taking pictures.
When I was a kid, because I live in the Bronx, and I live close to Hunts Point. And when I was a kid, we used to ride our bikes over to Hunts Point. And at that time, in Hunts Point, there would literally be naked women walking around. Like,
Oh, yeah, I've seen
naked.
it. Yeah.
And there would be sex acts going on in the street. So I guess maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much as, someone who hasn't seen stuff like that. Like, at a certain point, it's like, look, I remember every year I loved when it was my birthday because we would go over there to the warehouse and get the birthday cake, the Valencia warehouse, and get a birthday cake, and you get to see naked women. And I was like, yay.
Oh, because you would drive by the hose and like.
Yeah, because you literally had to ride. You had to go through at that time, like crowds of them. They were everywhere.
You know what's so funny? You just reminded me one time. I remember this was a long time ago. My brother went and picked up my mom from work, and we were driving back from Queens, right? And we came across the Queensboro Bridge on 59th Street. Is it 59th to 60th around there?
Yes, 59.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like back then, it wasn't all
It was like
bougie. It wasn't bougie. You know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no. It
It
was
put it
like
this way.
Hunts
It was
Point.
like up. It was up and coming. But there was still hookers when you would drive off the when you come off the bridge or whatever, going back to the regular streets and stuff like that. You see the women hanging out like right underneath. And I remember there was this one girl, like she had on like really tight pants, and she had on like a brown leather jacket, but under she didn't have anything underneath her leather jacket. And her jacket was open, so her boobs were exposed. And it's so funny because I remember my brother was driving, mom was sitting in the front, and I was sitting in the back. But as a kid, you're always like in the middle because you want to see
Hmm.
shit that's you're passing by as you're driving and whatnot. So it was so funny because my mom and my brother saw the girl, and then I looked, and it's so funny because my brother said, "Oh, look, it's a working girl." Right, and it's so funny. I guess she must have saw me because the car was right open or whatever. She covered herself, like you know what I mean. Like she looked. I guess she saw me in the car. Immediately she zipped up and just turned around.
Okay.
So it's so funny because I was like, see, that's a nice hole. That's a oh, what a nice
the-
conscious hole. Like you know what I mean. Like
There was no such thing when I was a kid.
You know?
Not Hunts Point. At Hunts Point, we used to we would ride our little BMX bikes up there, and we would ride by and just look at the girls, and they would like, if they weren't naked, they would flip us up, a boob or
Yeah.
something else.
Oh, they would mess with y'all.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
the pimps would come out and shoot. Like they would, I guess they wouldn't shoot directly at us because nobody ever got hit. But they would come out and start shooting, and it was like, what the fuck? And you'd have to
Really?
you'd have to run away.
Oh,
yeah,
see,
yeah.
it's in Midtown. Nobody's gonna, want to attract that type of attention because even down in Hell's Kitchen, or even before it became on and popping, now it's like a fucking super fashionable mecca with restaurants and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
bullshit. You would walk 10th Avenue. It was not. It was
I
10th
remember.
Avenue was and you would see the the women walking around trying to solicit business and whatnot, but they weren't. Some, like I said, if some were walking around with their tits flashed out,
Yeah, they didn't.
it's you didn't even give it a second look. You just kept.
Because I worked around that area around the time of the change, from like right before the Giuliani change to like when it actually went in hardcore, and I remember like the prostitutes everywhere. It was amazing. I used to love. You know what? I prefer the old dirty New York to the new clean New York. It was
Why?
more real. It felt more real. It felt more like adventurous. Like
Okay.
I used to make trips as a kid to hunt, to Times Square to see the movies and try to duck into the peep shows and do stuff like that. And it just really nobody goes to Times Square for that now. Now it's like you go to Times Square to see the
Well,
the
because,
tourists.
well, I mean, so many people poo-poo those theaters, like those porn theaters, and the peep shows and whatnot.
Well, look, those porn theaters and peep shows, they didn't go out of business.
No, they just moved.
They were shut down.
Well, they
You know what I mean?
moved.
Yeah. It wasn't like they didn't go. Those all those places didn't disappear because of a lack of business. They were put out of business.
Yeah.
So that means a hell of a lot of people. I guarantee you, a lot of those peep shows are making more money than a lot of the legitimate businesses that are there now. Because you just go in there and they were always open. There was always a steady stream. When I worked as a dispatcher on 38th Street, and I had a window view overnight of 8th Avenue, and I would see not any of those business were ever empty during the night. Never. The businesses, the
I'll tell you
bars,
this much, like, even-
everything.
Well, look, when I used to go to LaGuardia Community College, now that's in Long Island City, and I don't know what 33rd Rawson looks like now. I mean, but it's pretty desolate because you have like the car dealerships and stuff like that. But there was like a little they sold videos and they had the little booths and stuff like that, and they had, of course, the novelties, the toys,
Right.
the outfits, and all that shit. And I remember one time I went in with a girlfriend of mine because she wanted to go and she didn't want to go by herself. Of course, I'm always the elected person. Would you come with me?
Okay.
And my ass is like, yeah, sure. I want to see what the fuck is going on in there for shits and giggles. So and like even when we went there, we went in like at a 2 o'clock in the middle of the week. There was mad people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was whether they were buying a video or they were buying lube or they were using the booth in the back or whatever. I mean, there were it was like it wasn't like dead in there. It was like it was on and popping.
And there was always the myth of the guy who was ashamed to walk in with his trench coat and his hat, and he was hiding his face. No, people went in there proudly. They didn't care. And
Yeah,
not
nobody
only that,
nobody goes in there like yeah like
there was the strip clubs that they had a lot of business. Like they had the flash dancers and all those places. There were the places that
I
had
think
live
Flashdance is
shows.
still around on Broadway.
Yeah, they because they became a more of an upscale gentleman type club, but they weren't always like that. They used to be nasty and dirty.
Yeah.
And they had the places where you could go and see the girls take showers, and they had like glass walls, and you could see all of that stuff. And it's like it's all gone now. And I think those older places and the older dirty New York was what New York really wanted to be. And I don't mean New York is like the city. I mean New York is in like what the people that lived here wanted out of their businesses. They wanted like a little bit of Las Vegas, and and a little bit of Hollywood. They had their movie theaters and their strip clubs and all that stuff. But nobody ever wanted to be Disneyland. Like right now, Times Square is mainly for tourists. I haven't gone there. I really don't have, unless I have to do something down there. I don't have any reason to go to Times
It
Square.
is so saturated with people. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's not people from here.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, because I like I
Well,
said.
you know what's so funny? You have the tourists, and then you have all the people who are working in those companies
Yes.
and all those businesses in the area.
But if I'm not going there for money or work, there's no reason for me to be in Times Square.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that. I used to always
Yeah,
be in Times
the only
Square.
time well, I'm in there because you know what I mean, because I'm always passing through. So because I'm passing through, I see it.
Right.
Yeah. But other than that, if I really have nothing going on down there, I'm not down there.
Yeah,
like
we used,
that.
I mean, we used to like we look. We've known each other for a long, long time, and we've walked through there. We've gone to restaurants in there.
Mhm.
We used to go to the movies over there,
Mhm.
and then like I said, it changed, and it's not really that interesting.
And it's funny because
anymore.
not even that often, because majority of the times we would end up hanging out down on the Lower East Side,
Yes. Yeah,
down
yeah.
by the Village, around in
Yeah.
that area. Because I
Yeah.
mean that Times Square is very commercialized. Anyway.
And the thing is,
yeah.
the village. I feel like the village might be going the same way.
It is.
Because
It is.
like I said, the village was. You had the dirty part. You had the part that was a little cleaner, but it was always parts you wanted to visit and go to, and stores you wanted to shop in. And it's not. I don't think it's genuine. It's what politicians want it to be, but it's
Yeah.
not what the people want or what the people
Well,
need.
it's so funny because when I was growing up, it used to be eccentric. Like you would see the punk rockers. You would see like
Yes.
people who would not fit in your normal 42nd Street, like all over boroughs, like people who would not fit in, like the misfits would all be down in the Village. That people would tell you what the hell, you crazy? Just go hang out in the Village. Be one of those crazy people, stuff like that. And you would see like the dude with the snake, the guy with all the piercings, and it was funny because you would walk around and you would see the difference. Now it's just very like, it's very. I mean, it's nice. It's residential and stuff like that. And you have the businesses and you have a lot of college kids now.
Uh-huh.
And then you see like the newer kids, like the teenagers hanging down there. That's like their spot to hang out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to have the arcades that the kids would all go and hang out in. On 42nd.
Arcades. What the fuck is that?
Exactly. Let me tell you something. One time I saw an Israelite hanging out with a transvestite and a guardian angel in the Orange Julius, and you will never see that again anywhere.
What?
Yeah, you know the Israelites that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be in Times Square.
Wasn't it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Orange Julius. There used to be an Orange Julius. I think it was on 42nd or 40. No. It's on 30.
Wait, what's an orange juice for those people who don't know?
Okay. Orange Julius. I think it's still there. It's on 38th and 8th Avenue. It's a little shop you walk into. You can have hot dogs, and they make Orange Julius's. And I think that's all they have, right?
Like you mean like a Grace Papaya type of thing?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it is one of those Grace Papayas.
What'd you say on 34th Street?
It's on 38th and 8th Avenue. It's not there anymore. See, that sucks. See, I once went through it and we saw. Yeah, it was.
Anything
there was,
like Grace Papaya type would be 72nd and Broadway. There's 23rd and I believe 7th. And then there used to be one. I want to say it was Fourth, but
Yeah.
I believe they removed it.
Because the one on I know the one that was on 38th and 8th was right downstairs from where the Henzo Gracie had put his jiu-jitsu school.
Mm-hmm.
It was right in the corner, and I remember I was always like, "This is terrible. You're gonna go up there and work out, and you're gonna
And
go
they
down
said
and
have
eat
a
a
hot
fucking hot
dog.
dog." Yeah, it was terrible, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been there in a long, long time, so I don't remember. I don't know if it's there or not. But like I said, one time it was early in the morning. I was walking to the train on 34th Street, and I saw them, transvestite, an Israelite, and a guardian angel. Three people who should fucking hate each other, and they were all just chilling in Grace Papaya.
Eating hot dogs.
Yep, just chilling like it
See,
was nothing. And you will
nothing
never
like
see that.
yeah, nothing like a
You'll
hot
never
dog
see
will
it.
bring people together.
Yeah, you'll never see that again. Remember Tad Steaks, shitty steakhouse?
It was not a shitty
It was
steakhouse. No, it
terrible.
was not. It
Terrible.
was not a shitty steakhouse.
Uh-huh.
I used to love me some Tad Steakhouse. What? And then they used to have like that garlic bread that they put
Rubber.
that. What? It's not rubber. Shame on you. Don't even.
Home with the rubber steaks.
No, 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 no. That.
They're not there anymore, right? They're gone. They're gone a long time.
I think so. I think the one I want to say the one on 50th Street because it's part of I think a Reese chain now. I think.
Oh, okay.
I believe the one on 50th is still there, but the one on 34th Street that used to be, I think, somewhere next to Old Navy or whatever is gone.
Oh,
I think it's gone.
you see, and
I used to
I've
love me
never
some
been.
Tad steaks.
And it
Shit
sucks
was
because
delicious.
it keeps me from the places that I should go to. Like I want to go to the Apple Store. I've never been to the Apple Store in the city,
Any of them?
any of them, and I need to make the trip and do that. And I want to see the Nintendo World. But I don't want to get caught up in the stupid crowd. I don't want to be stuck in the.
Go early. If you go early, if
Yeah.
you go early in the mornings and stuff like that, you could beat the crowds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, take a trip down there.
But it's insane.
Mhm.
Uh, oh, let's completely off the subject. There was something I wanted to. Did you see it's headline news? Did an interview with some guy about Edward Snowden. Basically, Edward Snowden.
Why does that sound familiar?
He's the guy that leaked information about the government and the NSA.
Is that the guy from? I want to say Brazil or something like that.
He was hiding out in no, that's Julian Assange.
Oh.
Edward Snowden, I think he was hiding out in Russia and China for a while, and then went to Russia. And he leaked a lot of information, and the government is like looking for him. They want to arrest him, but he's
Is he the whistle? You know
Yes,
what's so fun? They were calling
whistleblower.
him the whistleblower. Okay.
yeah, the guy's a hero basically. But,
Really?
yeah, that's
See,
how,
I'm not.
I think
I
he
haven't
is.
followed the story, so I'm not.
He
well
basically
informed.
broke that the NSA is spying on everyone. And the NSA is not supposed to really do that. They're supposed to be from foreign countries. They're not supposed to. They're spying on Americans. And he blew the whistle. And there is
Yo, you know that guy has his own wiki,
who?
Edward Snowden.
Of course, yeah, of course he would have to. But there was an interview
Yeah,
this
that's
weekend.
I remember. That's the picture I've seen
And
online.
I don't want to ruin it for you, but I think you're gonna.
You said what did you say to what?
There was an interview because he started a Twitter account, right?
Yes.
And the only people he followed in the Twitter account were the NSA.
Really?
And they got in touch with someone to basically interview this person about Edward Snowden. And let me see. I want to play this for you because it's kind of hilarious. Where look at this.
Thanks, Melissa. We are
Watch.
in search mode because
Just
Edward
check it
Snowden has
out.
joined Twitter, and in less than 24 hours, he's close to 1 million followers. His first tweet reads this: "Can you hear me now?" Well, apparently everybody could. That tweet got more than 99,000 retweets and more than 90,000 favorites. Just look at how quickly the news spread around the entire world. And just as quickly, people took sides. Famed astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson called Snowden a, quote, patriot. But the governor of New York and presidential candidate tweeted, "Twitter is a great American company that should not give a platform to terrorists or traitors." At Jack, who is the founder of Twitter, shut down Snowden today. So joining me now, John Hendren, who supports Edward Snowden. John, Twitter, they shut down ISIS account. Why do you think Snowden is any different, according to Pataki?
Oh, well, he's a hero. I mean, he's doing what any one of us should have done in that situation. He's got a voice. He's been isolated for so long. He's got valid things to say. I mean, we should listen to what he says.
But some people don't think he's a hero.
Well, they're wrong. I mean, He's doing the most patriotic possible thing.
All right, listen, some people are also saying that Snowden's actions could have been harmful. I want to take a listen to John Oliver from back when, and then we'll talk about it.
The New York Times took a slide, didn't redact it properly, and in the end it was possible for people to see that something was being used in Mosul on Al-Qaeda.
That is a problem.
Well, that's
It is, and these things do happen in reporting. In journalism, we have to accept that some mistakes will be made. This is a fundamental concept of liberty.
right. But you have to own that then. You're giving documents with information you know could be harmful, which could get out there.
Yes.
There is classified information out there that John Oliver was referring to that was released that could have feasibly harmed people. Do you think Snowden's actions were worth that risk?
Well, to say that he couldn't harm somebody, with what he did, like he could, absolutely he could have. But I think to cast him out, to make him invalid in society, simply because he has scissors for hands, I mean, that's so strange, because, people didn't get scared until he started sculpting shrubs into dinosaur shapes and whatnot.
What?
All right, well, now Snowden's living in Russia. Actress Zap tweeted this. Dear Edward Snowden, what do you make of the massive Russian...
I love that she doesn't miss a beat. Like she did. It's like she's not even listening to him.
Wait a minute. Did he make an Edward Scissorhands reference?
Yes, he did.
Okay, I'm
Like
like,
you picked it up.
I'm like, what?
But this lady's supposed to be interviewing him.
Uh-huh.
She has no idea.
Well, he's saying he's taking the information and kind of like sculpting all this shit.
Well, no, he's literally talking about Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Like he's not trying to make an analogy or anything. He's just fucking with her.
And she just was
And
like,
she has no idea. Like, look.
misinformation campaign going on. Listen, some people say it's hypocritical that Snowden has asylum in Russia. Russia has a lot of human rights violations.
Well, yeah, casting him out is just completely wrong. We're treating him like an animal, like somebody who should be quarantined and put away. Just because he was created on top of a mountain by Vincent Price and incomplete with scissors for hands and no heart, Edward Scissorhands is a complete hero to me.
But what about the choice that he made to live in a country?
he fucking with her.
She doesn't get it.
Where else is he gonna go? We cast him out. Like we got scared when he poked a hole in a waterbed with his scissor finger. Like that was just unreasonable of us.
Well, John, I appreciate you giving us your opinion. Thank you.
No, thanks.
Listen, for more of what Snowden has tweeted and other celebrities' first tweets, go to h1tv.com. And by the way, Google's first tweet is by far and away my favorite, so make sure to check it out.
She
Thanks,
has.
Melissa. We are in...
I don't think she knew how to deal with that, so she just ignored it.
She
I
completely.
I just feel like she ignored it. She didn't even.
She didn't know. I don't think.
I don't even think she
don't-
gave it any thought.
No,
It-
I don't. I think she had questions to read. She read those questions, and she didn't even listen to a word that this guy said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, created by Vincent Price on a mountain, and like that doesn't like just.
I was
like,
like, what?
What the fuck? What?
What the fuck are you just saying? And I'm here thinking like, well, is he trying to say that he's using
Like an analogy
Yeah,
between.
I'm like, whoa.
No, he's straight up saying Edward Scissorhands. Like he says Edward Scissorhands at some point.
Well, he says it. He says it a couple of times, and he says that he pokes the bed with his scissor
With his
hands.
scissor hands, like sculpting hedges.
Hedges with the
sculptures.
information and all this
What?
shit. I was like, what?
Yeah, like seriously, what the heck? Oh, it's hilarious. I don't get it. People are crazy.
Well, you know what's up? I don't know. The guy that was fucking with her, good for him because clearly she was.
And it went out live. There was no kind of retraction. Nothing. They didn't like. The news is funny in that if you ever seen those clips where all the news says basically the same thing, have you ever seen that? Like they all have the same stories.
Well, that's my problem with my problem with watching the fucking news. I just feel it's this regurgitated shit, and then the shit that you see, it's not even important shit. It's like menial.
Well, the
dumb
thing
shit.
there's like it's lazy to the point where there are services that, and this happens with radio too. There's services that news stations subscribe to, and basically those services send them the same news bites, the same they have one news story with like their little phrases and their little news bites here and their their jokes and everything, and they also all send it out to the all the different news companies, and they all have it's basically the same story, and you'll see them make the same jokes and everything. It's ridiculous. I think Jimmy Fallon was doing it, where
Oh
he
yeah.
would play like in the news, and they would show like all the different news stations that everyone's saying the same shit.
The shit that I saw last night with the Seth Meyers with the Planned Parenthood chick,
That
that
was
shit was
awesome.
astounding. I would have been so frustrated if I was Cecile, what's her name? Cecile Richards?
Yes.
Sitting on that fucking panel and then having those people ask me questions and then did not even let me finish answering. I'm like, what the fuck?
See, with stuff like that,
I feel like
you need
that's.
to get up and walk away.
I was just about to. I would have been
Yeah.
like, look, y'all not letting me speak. Well,
Yeah.
y'all motherfucker. You not letting me speak here. If I can't answer and if you're not letting me, speak my case or state my case, then this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna entertain this. I'm not gonna
'Cause-
sit here and have you guys, try to like bash me and then I can't even defend myself. I can't even answer.
Yeah, because basically it just becomes like a medium for these people to sit there and make themselves look good.
Yeah.
And the best part of that, the best part of that whole thing, is when the guy comes out with the chart, and she's like, "That chart is from here." That was the best part.
No, you know what was hilarious? That he had the word. He goes, "I got these numbers from your budget."
Yeah.
He's telling this woman like, "Bitch, I got this from your records." All right, and she's like, no, boo. If you read the bottom of the slide, it says the source comes from a pro-choice, agency.
See, that's a whole. See,
You
know
need to
what's funny?
check your facts.
And this is the problem. This is why look. I don't vote as much as I probably should, and the whole reason
I know.
behind it.
You know what's so funny? I'm so like I feel. I've voted. I've not voted. I've voted. I've not voted because you know what's so funny for someone who's been on and off, on and off. Shit of a difference.
No, and the thing is, with me, I look at it like if you vote Democrat, then that means you agree with all the Democrat shit, and I really don't. You know what I mean? Some of the shit is great, and some of the shit is garbage.
I feel because a lot of people say, well, you go with know the devil you know.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Oh, he may not be 100% great, but I've heard this from people who do vote. They may not 100% agree with the person that they're voting for, but they do agree with some of their stances on certain
Right.
issues. But because they're better than the other fucking person that they're
Yeah.
coming up against, so they go with that person.
Yeah, like
So
I
it's
see-
just like you pick some person who's completely a shit, or someone who's not so shitty, or someone who I don't know. It's shitty or shittest, whatever.
And the thing is, like, they like say you say you have a Republican candidate, right? And the Republican, of course, they're for like lower taxes and shit like that, and that's fine. I'm good with that. But that whole anti-abortion thing is like, what about all the guys that want to go raw and all the freaky girls and shit? You can't go. It's like I can't co-sign all of your shit.
You know what? I just feel like stay the fuck out of there.
Like-
What business is it of yours? What the fuck I decide to do with my
Yeah.
shit?
And you know what's funny? Donald Trump is a complete maniac. Complete fucking maniac.
Oh my god, that nigga said something actually fucking smart about Planned Parenthood.
Well,
that
yeah.
nigga was listening. He goes, "Well, that's just one aspect of what they do. It's not them." That I was like, okay,
Yeah, but see,
I'm not
the thing
gonna
about-
make fun of him today.
the thing about Donald Trump that all the other politicians hate is that he doesn't play the bullshit politics game. He doesn't play he's supposed to be against Planned Parenthood because he's Republican. He's not against Planned Parenthood. And they hate that because you're supposed to co-sign everything. And you can't.
It'd be interesting to see how far he comes along because let me tell you something. Out of mostly candidates are like like lawyers or
Yeah.
someone already in Congress or some already have dealings with the state and all that stuff. He doesn't.
But
So, it'd be interesting to see how far he gets.
it's I think the biggest myth about candidates and people who run for government is that they're all smart. They're not.
Nah,
No,
yeah.
the only thing they all have in common is they're very charismatic. They can talk their way out of, they can bullshit their way out of almost anything. If you look at like Sarah Palin, complete idiot. The girl was a beauty queen. That's why she is where she is. She's a complete dummy. Anytime she opens her mouth, this stupid shit flies out. And
Yeah.
and she became a senator, or no, a governor. She was the governor of a governor of one of the biggest states in the United. She's the governor, and completely stupid. And the same thing, John McCain, Senator John McCain. Yes, the guy went to war. Yeah, he got caught, prisoner of war, all this stuff. That's fine, but he's not all there. The man lost a
Of
debate.
course not. He was a prisoner of war. Of
Yeah.
course he's not old. I
He-
know that nigga's still suffering repercussions.
He lost a debate to Ken Shamrock about the UFC way back when the UFC first started.
The fighting shit?
Yes.
Okay.
Way back when it first started, there was a whole push to make it illegal because
To make UFC illegal.
yes, well, to make all those types of fighting things illegal
Mm-hmm.
because someone had died in Russia fighting. Now, Ken Shamrock was in this interview, and it was John McCain was the one guy who was pushing, like majorly pushing,
Mm-hmm.
for this to be shut down. And Ken Shamrock, while debating John McCain actually said that he didn't remember the guy's name. And Ken Shamrock told him, "How can you defend someone or, claim to be helping them? You don't even know what their name is." And it completely put John McCain in a position where he couldn't speak or say anything. He just got stuck.
Oh.
He didn't know what to say. And he just lost a debate. Ken Shamrock was a great fighter, not the brightest bulb in the box. I've met the guy a couple of times, nice guy and everything. Not that great. Great fighter. For him to shut down a senator, who at that time, that was a long time ago. That was like late 90s. We're in 2015. He's still running.
Well, I mean, it just goes with your point, what you were just saying earlier about like it doesn't matter how educated you are. Sometimes just because you're educated doesn't make you the most.
No. And it's funny
smartest person in
because
the room.
I would, with all his craziness, I would say Donald Trump is probably the smartest man in that room when it comes to politicians. And that is a sad, sad thing to say. Because they're all, look, Jeb Bush, I'm sorry, no.
Jeb, but
yeah,
he speaks Spanish so
And
well.
he got a Spanish wife.
Yo hablo español.
And what's the other one? Ted, what the hell's his name? No, Marco Rubio. They're all look. They're all terrible, 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 and I don't understand. Looks like Hillary Clinton.
If she could get past that fucking email shit,
Look,
I feel like
let me tell
they're
you
looking.
something.
I feel like every time that woman tries to do something, like nah, bitch,
I think at this
They shoot her
point, if
down.
they locked her ass up, I would still vote for her. I will vote for her behind bars. Because every other alternative is just ridiculous. It just makes no sense.
You know what's so funny? Nobody's a saint. Everybody's crooked. From what I see, everybody has a crookedness about them.
But it's like this is.
Either they've done some crook or it's doing crookedness.
You know what's funny? People will harp like say Hillary Clinton wins, right? There are people who will run around patting themselves on the back about how we just voted for a female president and look how advanced we are and this is
What?
just
Advanced?
great. You know, India's had like 3 female presidents.
Thank you. I was
Pakistan
like
has
advanced.
a female president right now. Pakistan.
Wait, there was. I can't think right now. I want to say there was some woman, I think in Iran or Israel or Egypt.
She was,
she
but that was like a royalty thing. Yeah, she was like the daughter of
No,
a
it's
shah or something.
Golden Meir. What the fuck did she do?
Golda Meir wasn't she the prime minister of Israel? Yeah.
And we
That's
can't
not really
even.
the same. Yeah, but still,
Well, I mean, somebody in a position.
these
like,
are
you know,
nations that are supposed to be savage, according to some people.
That's my
and they're
point.
supposed
That's
to
my
be
point.
lower-
They don't.
lower
In other words,
rung.
they don't look at women as
Yeah,
they're
but that's
equals.
But see, that's the thing. That's what people will tell you. But they've already voted for a woman president, so it says something other than what the narrative says. You know what I mean? They've had women presidents already. They've had presidents that were darker than what is it? What was it? Darker. Oh, fuck. What was this? The skin test they used to have? You got to be darker than something.
Oh, then the paper bag.
Yeah, darker than a paper. They've had presidents that were darker than paper bags in other countries. This is the country that we're living in that we're patting ourselves on the back about how advanced we are. We're not that
We're not
advanced.
advanced. We're fucking stupid. I like how we say we're so far ahead or we're this and this and that, and it's funny because when it comes to certain stuff, we're so backwards.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I was just reading. I forgot what state it was, but I think it was Minnesota, where the governor of Minnesota basically said he wants to pass a new law where if you're getting welfare, there's a list online where we can publish your name. Like basically shaming people who are on welfare. It's like you don't see the fucking. You don't understand what.
So they wouldn't feel inclined to be on welfare. So
if they would
let me
have
get
their
this straight.
name put on a list.
Yeah. So all right.
And
Whatever.
not for nothing, if you really, really need welfare, you don't give a fuck about a list.
Thank you. Exactly.
You know, you just need welfare. And the thing is, you're gonna shame people. It's like this one was hilarious. There was a few months ago.
You pay into that all that shit.
Yeah, you should be able to get that.
Thank you.
There was a whole thing where. Remember when the NYPD had that whole thing where everybody was against the cops and that's every day. But
No. I was like,
the
yeah.
police. It was when it was really strong, like at the beginning of the summer, and the police union basically to fight it. They had cops go, and they wanted the cops to Instagram homeless people. Basically, take pictures of homeless people on the street and write funny captions about the homeless. Like they're basically to shame homeless people. And the thing is, it's stupid because number one, homeless people don't have Instagram accounts. They're not they're not gonna see you shaming them. Second of all, what's gonna make you seem less human than you making fun of a dude that's homeless on the street?
Thank you. Yeah.
That's not cool. Don't do. You know, it's ridiculous. And with all the shit I've been going through with my son, I've met a few cops that were fucking decent people. They're not complete fucking assholes. And you do shit like that, and it taints everybody.
Yeah.
It taints everyone.
Yeah, I mean, my experience living in New York, and you know what I mean? That's why I said, like, I've met some cops that I understand why people feel the way they do about
Yes.
police, but, you know, I don't feel like they're all like that.
I personally know cops that are terrible people. They should be in jail.
Well, look, I've met assholes. I put it this way. To me, it's just like everybody else. Either you're fucking an asshole or you're not. You just happen to be an asshole cop. Or if you're not, you actually be a cool cop.
The other day, I actually had with my son, two cops come to my door with my son. And they were asking me questions, is this, he lives here and this and that. Yeah. So, but when I answered the door, I wasn't really dressed. It was early in the morning. So, one cop was putting his fucking foot in the door like, I can't close my door.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? And now his partner was an older guy. He would have more sense in his head.
He'd be like...
So I told the cop, can you put your fucking foot, could you stop so I can get dressed?
Uh-huh. And
he didn't want to listen to me. He just kept his foot there. And I look at the other cop, and the other cop's like, you see, this is what you're working with. You're working with these super eager assholes that you come to my door to ask me a question, supposedly to help somebody. And you're acting like a fucking dickhead. Sure. Like, if I didn't want to shoot you before, now I kind of do want to shoot you.
No, you know what's so funny? The flip side on that is that, this is why I never wanted to be a cop, because, you have to deal with so much shit. Yeah. It's going to make you a certain which way. So I don't blame them for being a dick.
But the thing is, if your job gets... Look, if your job gets you to the point where you're becoming a piece of shit and you see it, maybe it's time for you to step away from that job.
Correct. Or maybe you should check yourself. Because the truth is, in all fairness, in life, I'm sorry, you need to be a dick. You got to know. And what I'm trying to say, if you're a cop, I get it. I'm not taking away from anything, and I'm not, whatever. But at the same time, I'm not condoning your right to be an asshole either. But know when to fucking turn that shit on and turn it off. Because not every situation that you're dealing with is a fucking situation that you have to go in and be an asshole.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, and that's just people in general in life. You got to know when to be an asshole, when not to be an asshole. You know? Simple. Because if not, you get punched in the fucking throat. And the thing
is, when you treat certain people a certain way, you're asking to be treated back. Mm-hmm. If you come at somebody, hard and with disrespect, they're going to come right back at you with that. And then you can't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you who I feel for. Who I really, really feel for is... these people that work in social services, the people who went in legitimately wanting to help people and make a difference. I feel for my sister because my sister is in that field and she wants to help
And it's funny. I think she's realizing a lot, really, really fast
Yeah.
that it's not only the job itself, but it's also the system
Yeah,
and what you're working with.
you're caught between the system that wants to protect itself and the people who legitimately need help, and you can't help them. And what do? You become a hard person, or you become a withdrawn person. Like, I've never met a social worker or an ACS worker or any kind of these workers who didn't have that same broken look on their face. Like, I can't, this is ridiculous. And I don't know.
I have to admit, like the people that I know, I've heard their frustration. It's frustrating. It's so funny because even nurses, like I mean, people, anybody that's in that like that field of taking care of people, whatever, you see the frustration on their faces. They're,
There was it's funny because there was a whole thing recently. I don't know what started it, but it was a whole like some shit about nurses and how they weren't really worth anything. And I tell you, I've been hospitalized more than one occasion, and because I don't lead the safest life. And I make a lot of stupid mistakes, but
you're not alone.
I've seen of the time I spent in the hospitals, 95, not even 95, like 99% of the time, I was taken care of by nurses. And then every once in a while, a doctor will poke their head in and be like, "How are you?" But the truth of the matter is, any care you've been given was given by a nurse.
Yeah, it's funny because you'll get the same nurses, but not always the same doctors. You're very
Yes,
y-
because the
and
doctors change all the time.
yeah.
And the nurses are fantastic, and the nurses will actually
Unless
realistically
wait a minute,
work with you.
unless you have that good insurance that you can that you can go to like a special like you go to a doctor's office.
Yeah.
He's also the surgeon. He's gonna go see you. He'll
Yeah.
come in and check on you personally,
Yeah.
and follow up. That's why I said you gotta get that good.
Yeah, but you'll still
insurance.
have a team of nurses
You know what I mean?
that are still taking care of your day to day stuff.
Well, I'll tell you this much: from being on the other insurance,
Yeah.
yes. Because
And-
on the other insurance, it's like, okay, I'm onto this shit, but my colleague who comes on at this time will
Yeah.
take care or whatever. Now, when you got that good insurance, because when you got that good insurance and you go specifically to that doctor, that's the fucking doctor you deal with.
Yeah. No, when I was in because I was in Flushing Hospital, and they were great, great, great nurses there, and the doctor would, every once every once in a while, a doctor would poke his head in, but mostly it was like the doctor's students that would poke their heads in. And I'm like, I don't know who you. Who are you?
Once again, that's depending.
Dr. Nick.
Yeah, that's depending on the hospital that you go to and who you deal.
Yeah.
Because when I saw my doctor, when I got my knee surgery, I went to go see my Dr. Pearl, to HS that did everything. He came in, he checked on me, saw me, whatever, followed. I never spoke to, hey, I'm his, the intern, or I'm just following. No, I dealt with him. I was gone. I was dispatched. Everything when I came back and I saw him. Follow up, good.
No, it's great when you get good care. It is fantastic.
Yeah, because you're like, all right, now I see where the fuck my money's going to. But when you get the shitty ass care, you're like, where the fuck is? And then the infuriating thing on top of that is that you still have to come out of your pocket to cover a deductible, cover copay. I feel that's some bullshit because they're already taking the money out of your check to begin with. So why the fuck do I have to give you more money on top of that?
With it's funny because with your insurance, it's a gamble. There are people that never use their insurance ever.
Exactly. So why, if I go to the doctor, do I have to pay an additional extra? I just feel like honestly speaking, I feel like if you're garnishing my check and taking money out for insurance, why do I need to come out of my pocket and give you a copay? Dude, you're already getting the insurance is getting paid already. They should just cover this shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a penalty for using the insurance.
That's what I
You know
feel.
what I mean?
I thought of it
like-
that
like-
way, and it makes me upset.
Like, you don't have to pay anything. And I paid in the post office. I paid a ridiculous amount for insurance because I had me and my son. That had to have like a family plan. It was a ridiculous amount of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, whether you used the insurance or not, every year the copays rose.
Mm-hmm.
Every year what you had to pay rose. But what you get out of it always comes down to less and less. And it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
it was ridiculous. And I don't understand how they just pass this law where they want everyone to have insurance. It's sad because everybody should have insurance straight off the bat. If England could do it and it's an island, we should be able to do it. This is a giant country. it doesn't make sense. It really, really, really doesn't. I have I have now because my work insurance wore off, so I have like the free insurance. And you know, what's sad. The sad thing is the free insurance is probably better than the work insurance. I have no copays,
Mhm.
and people look at you like, oh, you're taking advantage of the system or just not. I don't think I am.
Well, how are you
I
taking
I
advantage of the
think I'm
system?
getting what I paid in
I was
because
just about to say,
yeah,
you know, they take taxes
every
and all that
time,
shit
yeah,
out
you
of
ever
it.
see
So
your
you
check?
know what I mean? You're entitled to that as
Yeah,
a citizen.
every week when they take half my check out, because that's what you're taxed at pretty much half your check. You're entitled to something from that. And if they're not going to give me unemployment, and I'm not going to get welfare, and I'm not going to get this and that, I should at least get health care. I mean, you guys want me to go back to work too. I would love to go back to work. I'm waiting for it, but something has to give somewhere. That's what I'm hoping towards. Uh, I hate to make it sound like I'm bashing cops though, because I'm not. I have some really, really like my mom's neighbor is a cop, and I've known that girl since I was a little kid. She's great, and my best friend, one of my
Well,
best
I
friends,
mean,
DJ.
you have your own personal experience. I've had not for nothing. I've had my own personal experiences with asshole cops. So, you know what I mean?
Yes, you did. I forgot about that.
So with that being said, you put it this way: I don't. I've Mama's lived, so I've been around the block to know that not everybody is all an asshole. You got your some that are an assholes, and you got some that are not. Cops are not cops.
It just sucks that the
people.
few that are bad really do taint.
Well,
the rest
because
of
we
them.
just do. I just think as in general, we all do that. We tend to clump everything into one fucking category. Once we have a bad experience with something,
Yeah.
I think our initial reaction is just to say, "Oh, all everything is bad." I mean,
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean,
you know
look at
what?
it this way.
It's
Rel-
safer.
in relationships, when it goes wrong, all women are hoes, or all men are dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's basically you poo-poo everybody when you really shouldn't.
Well, that's kind of a coping mechanism. I mean, you do tend to look towards
Exactly.
the worst. Like if cops pull up on me, I'm thinking more towards the worst possible scenario than the best possible. Scenario.
You know what's so funny? I think just by nature and as human beings, we fool ourselves by saying to think of the most negative thing as
Yeah.
being reality when reality is not reality until it happens.
Yeah.
So it's just so you're really like in your head you're setting yourself up for this negative reaction when you shouldn't. You should just be neither one or the other. You should just wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done it too, and I'm like, yeah. I say like I tell myself like like the most negative thing or thinking convincing myself it's realistic when reality hasn't happened yet. So
Uh-huh.
You don't-
No. I'm thinking about like younger years. Like if you ever slept with someone that you really shouldn't have, and then you spend the whole day like until you take a shower, you feel like I'm dirty. I need to take a shower. This is terrible.
I'm
I need to
trying to
clean off this filth.
Wait, you just thought of that right now?
Yeah, because you're saying the worst possible thing, and that happens. You ever like you have a one night stand, and then you're like, why did I do that? Oh my god!
See,
I gotta get
okay.
tested. I'm talking about one night stand, like you're a little tipsy, and things might not have been as protected as they should have been. And I'm talking about that kind of those disasters.
When you're like, alcohol's the devil.
yeah, and like you're
You're
on
like,
your
oh, no.
you're on your way home, thinking you hope your skin is enough of a barrier to keep things safe.
No.
Until you get home or yeah. It's hilarious, but yeah, I was just thinking about that.
No, I mean, I've had like my, oh no.
You get stick finger.
I don't, no, I don't get stink finger. I was just like, no, I don't get stink finger. I was just like,
Yeah.
no, I just been like, I don't remember getting the fuck home.
Oh, that's the
Who
worst.
fuck is that in my bag?
Yeah.
Oh okay, nothing happened. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh no.
I'm telling you.
I had all my shots. I got all my shots. Everything was copacetic.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I've been on enough of those. Yeah, I've had. Look, every time I go to.
I'm not gonna say it's happened a lot, but I've had my incident.
Oh, who hasn't?
I'm a human. Yeah, exactly. Just like everybody else, I've had my incident.
I'm gonna say it's happened a lot, but not recently.
Because what is it? What
used to
is it?
happen
What
a
does
lot.
Oprah say? When you know better, you do better.
Yes.
When you're sober. When you know better, you do better. When you're sober.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it was almost like I should be sick. I should be sick of all kinds of shit because at the hype of the fucking AIDS scare, I just happen to be privileged enough to work in clubs and be running around doing stupid shit and without even thinking about it. And it's
I'm
like
sure you and a fucking
it's frightening.
trillions of people probably
Yeah,
feel that
and
way.
it's
Trillions of people.
just by the luck of the draw that I turned out okay. Like nothing
Shit,
happened.
I know people that I'm like, wow, you're still standing?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, like you should have been gone
Long time ago, yeah.
You know, and you feel that call every once in a while. You know that ring. Are you okay? Like,
What you mean? Why? What do you say?
It must have been somebody else because it's not me. But it's terrible, man. You fear that shit, and it's funny because I don't think kids nowadays, even though they should still worry about that stuff, I don't think they do.
No, my sister, she teaches. My sister, who's a social worker now, she teaches, sex ed at a high school.
Yeah.
So my sister was telling me, like, some of the questions they come and ask her are, like, so fucking stupid.
We got to get her in here because I want to hear these. I can imagine these kids aren't any smarter.
Yo, she says something about, like, eating a condom. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they really come and ask you these questions?
We're about the same age, so about the same time we were being sexually active, and it was seriously, people were dying from sex. And
well, you know
for
what?
us to have been stupid at that time about it.
Well, put it this way: there'll always be stupid people.
Yeah,
you know?
but
they gotta come from somewhere. It's not like you're born like, hey, I know all my shit.
But
I got it all together.
They have the privilege of not really worrying about things like we did, but they should be worried about the same shit.
You know what it is that I think on an individual level, nobody ever thinks it's gonna happen to them. This is why I feel like sometimes people just do this circumstances. Well, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm with this girl. She seems okay. I'm not gonna. I don't have a condom on. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're fucking pissing fucking nails and shit. Yeah, no bueno. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think people don't really think that, honestly speaking, I feel like people probably don't think that it's going to happen to them, which is why they go ahead and do what they do.
Yeah.
And probably, and obviously get into the situations that they get in.
I mean, I'm a little better now. I treat my shit like a Fabergé egg.
Mm-hmm.
Like the egg in Risky Business. That's me. I look back and I'm like, damn, I was fucking stupid. Like, there was people I didn't even see their faces, and you were just like, well, you woke up the next day. It's ridiculous. But these kids now, I don't know. And I think it's funny because every person when they get older probably says the same things, but I think the kids are more reckless now. But
I think it's the same. I think it's the same, Tony.
Really?
Honestly speaking, because put it this way. The game doesn't change. It's just the players. It's the same old thing, but it's just.
Really, I think it's changed.
It's just the set of people changes. Everything is still the same because the issues still are the same. You know what I mean?
Do you think so?
Whether to have sex, whether not to have sex. If I go out to this and do this, if I meet this person, should I hook up with them? Should I not hook up with them?
See, that's the thing. I don't think there is. That selectivity that we had, like, should we sleep with this person or that person?
Wait a minute. Then there's hey, I go out and have my drunken monkey moment, and then you're like, blah, and you're like, well, I don't remember making out with you. We made out.
Yeah.
No. Oh, damn.
Yeah, but I think these kids now they're a lot less selective in who they sleep with. I don't think sex is as important as it was to us.
No, I disagree.
You know
why? Because I've met as an adult now, 30-year-olds, 30-year-olds who have only had one partner.
Yeah.
Yes. And me, I mean, growing up as a teenager, by the time you were 13, you was banging. You was banging left and
But
right.
were those 30-year-olds like from here, or they're like?
Correct. Okay.
They're
One
like-
one is from Texas, and the
Okay.
other one is from Florida.
That's different.
And then wait a minute. And then there's another one, a male from the islands.
Yeah,
So,
see, that's different.
so I'll give you this much: if you're not born here in New
Yeah,
York,
yeah, yeah.
in the city where
Okay.
you get tainted,
Yeah.
it's different. It's a little bit different. I feel.
Yeah, because like I said, I've
Even
looked.
now, even now, my friend she's raising two of her children down in Georgia. She even says it. She says that the lifestyle here
Yeah.
is different. Like they're not as advanced down there.
Right.
Like her son is 13, and he's really like a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, the prepubescent stuff is coming in, the girls and all this wanting to get noticed and stuff like that. But look, he's just turning 13 and he's still a virgin. You know what I mean? As opposed to here, by the time you're fucking 10, you got a baby mama, and you got like 3 side hoes.
Yeah.
You know, so the mentality is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I listen. Look, you need to listen to these kids talk when they talk, because
I know, because you have a 16-year-old. See,
Yeah.
my niece is 18, and and it's funny because the stuff that she tells me, when I hear her say things, it reminds me so much of like what the fuck I was going through when I was growing up. So but then again, once again, she lives here in the city in New York. When you go outside of New York, it's a whole different type of mentality.
Yeah.
Like even my friend said it. Like she says she kind of likes the fact that she's able to raise her son in the environment that she's able to raise him in, because he has an opportunity to be more of a child, to really take advantage of being a youth.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you grow up in New York, I mean, not for nothing, I was very independent. Like I was at 13, I was working, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My mentality was way different versus if I was living probably outside of the, New York, where it would be different. When my whole life, my whole world was like going to school.
Yeah.
Going to college and doing all this stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think also
like I said, that's another thing. Like we got to get your sister, because it's yeah. I'm really like I've heard shit said from kids that was just like, wow, really, like.
I know my sister's like, you should. My sister's like, you should come and work with me. You could talk to those kids because they can relate to you. Because I'm gonna tell them like, look, you fuck smart or you fuck dumb. You fuck dumb, you get diseases, you get fucking babies.
Fucked up. They all.
Everybody does, because because the truth is, nobody really thinks it's not gonna happen to me. It ain't gonna happen. Don't worry, we ain't gonna get pregnant. I'll pull it out next to you.
Yeah, because I hear these kids talking about, oh, I slept with him, and I slept with him, and I blew him, and I did this, and I'm just like, what?
And it's so funny. My sister told me, who's a health, educator, whatever. She said that syphilis is now on the rise.
Yeah, yeah. And you know how long it took me to get not selective? Like, as a younger person, I was crazy selective. Mm-hmm. And, it took me into
Selective or picky?
It's just the same.
It's the same?
Yeah. And it took me well into, like, my 30s to just not care.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everybody gets a chance eventually. And these kids right now are just like, there's no selection. It's not like, they don't care. They're just really.
I just think they're not making I just think they're not making wise choices.
Well, no, it's not a white. No.
Whether they're being, look, let me tell you something. Whether you're selective or not selective, let me tell you, if you're not being responsible in what the fuck you're doing, then bro, you're reckless.
Like I said,
because let me tell you something. You could fuck 10 people and still be clean. Or you could be that one person that fucks that one fucking person who's a dirty motherfucking individual, and you're fucked. So it really doesn't matter what the activity is, as long as you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
As long as you're responsible, you fucking put the condom on, you fucking take your fucking birth control, you take all the measures that you need to take, so that way you don't fuck yourself up later on.
Yeah. That's why I said we were forced. Like I said, we were born in that time where AIDS was rampant, and you needed. Like,
I think that's why I was such a wifey. I was like, no.
We had actual entire classes of like how to have sex and what
Yeah,
not to do.
I had sex ed too.
And like I think sex ed is a lot less like it was with us. Like I had entire semesters of sexual education.
That's what my sister does.
Yeah, yeah, not just like one
And she
class
teaches
here,
out
one
in the
class there.
my sister teaches out in the Bronx by Arthur Avenue.
She has to get my son's not
My
going
sister
there.
will be like, "Bitch, stop talking about me."
Your sister, you know what though? Your sister looks very young, so she's probably got a lot of kids like hitting on her and stuff. No, she has a baby face.
Well, you know what's so funny that I think.
Because those kids are bold.
Yeah, but the thing is, my sister. I don't know. I think my sister has her way, but whatever. But she says, I think because my sister looks a certain way, so I don't know if they relate to her.
Maybe that could be.
You know, because my sister, well, the reason why my sister wanted me to, one time she said she wanted me to come in, and she's like, oh, you're relatable to them. You know how, you know how they say, you know the language, you know the this, I was like, I'll teach you it. It's not a problem.
Okay. She doesn't speak Spanish or something?
She does.
She doesn't speak that brand.
Correct.
Okay.
But if I was to turn around and be like, mira, you know what I mean? No me vengan con esa vaina. You know what I mean? My sister would be like, el estapo.
What?
Así no se habla.
Oh no, that's hilarious.
Yeah. No, I think my sister. You know what's so funny? My sister knows how to handle herself. She's young looking, so I think they'll relate to her. They'll try to relate to her.
Okay.
Yeah, because they ask her age, but she doesn't tell them her age.
Oh no. Yeah, you gotta be careful with them because you don't want to be too personal. You know what I mean? Because then they get that comfort level. All they need is a little comfort level, and then they got out of control.
I'll smack somebody. Fuck that.
Do the running slap.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, mira, papa. I'm like, I don't fuck that shit. Let's do that shit.
Well, it's about time for us to wrap up. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll shoot that video. Oh, we'll shoot that video and get it up.
Are you gonna be riding your bike in the video?
Not this one. I gotta put it together. I'm not gonna put it together on video because that's just gonna be too terrible. Eventually, yeah, I'm gonna get it on there. I actually ordered the mount for the bike.
The mount? Okay.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of mounts. Like I have one for the dog and like you put it on his back.
Yeah.
And you walk around. I have a video of that on my computer. Cool. And a whole bunch of I have one you put on your head, but I'm not wearing that because it looks retarded. And the chest mount, but it's not for me because I'm too big, and it'll fit me like really really tight gay He-Man. So I'm not wearing that.
Like He-Man when he got the little thing on his chest.
Yes, I have that. You won't be doing
the
that either.
The little leather straps with the studs in the middle.
I look like a bear. No, that won't happen. But yeah, we'll get a video up. And a couple of things. There's a Gmail account. It's tonescrib@gmail.
Oh, we got a Gmail account?
Yeah, well, I set it up initially, and I didn't even think about it. But yeah, there's tonescrib@gmail. There's tonescrib@wordpress.com. Tonescrib.wordpress.com. You can put messages there. You can also get the podcast from there. And we'll be working on a Facebook and Twitter. Eventually, we'll get there.
Who is listening to this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Whoever's listening to this,
what,
I hope you have a spectacular day and a fantastical week.
Yeah, I saw
Thank you for
that
listening.
there were uploads, and somebody in Jakarta uploaded, and you know what?
Hello.
Shout out to Jakarta.
Shout out, exactly.
Because I have no idea where it is.
We
and you
worldwide,
downloaded
son.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out. Yay.
So that's all for now, and we will see you next time, about a week, hopefully. Yeah.
If we're still alive, if everybody's doing well, yes, God
if
willing.
not, it'll be a one-person podcast.
No. Don't say that.
But thanks for listening.
Bye,
and have a
everybody.
Good week.
Have a good week.